Just know that the younger version of you really does deserve this. You deserve to give yourself this kind of attention and this kind of healing because you may not have chosen the story, but you are the one who gets to choose the healing. So the first 7 years of life is the foundation for our subconscious mind. And we don't just remember our childhood, we live it out. You do not remember every single thing that has happened to you as a child. You remember some of the biggest events, of course, the key moments, but you don't remember how hearing your parents arguing affected you. You don't remember how that divorce really distraughted you as a child. You don't remember how your dad telling you not to cry affected you up until today and how you handle and play out your emotions. You were programmed through the energy, tone, and presence of your parents. And sometimes our parents may not be the best. They are also human. Healing your inner child isn't about blaming your parents. Mom, you were a terrible mother, so now I'm going to prove to you that you didn't raise me right and not succeed in life. Dad, you weren't there for me and you left me, so now to prove to you that you were a crappy dad, I'm going to project my hatred outwards towards men and I'm going to have an unhealthy relationship with men. And this is why it is so important to heal those aspects of you because you may unconsciously do it. You may think, why do I feel such an anger and hatred towards men? Why do I feel as though I look at motherly figures so terribly? Why do I look at marriages in such a negative light? It's because you had to adopt these beliefs and these views as a child to make sure that you were protecting your emotional state. This is kind of where identity confusion begins because you just think that this is who you are. But you may have learned that you have to be quiet to feel safe. You may have thought or learned that in order to be accepted, you have to overachieve. You might have adopted this belief that do not express your emotions, do not cry, that is dangerous and that is not okay. So now as an adult, you believe that this is your identity, but this was your adaptations as a child to make sure that you were protected. Acknowledging pain doesn't dishonor your parents, it honors your inner child. You do not need to vandalize your parents to validate your story. By taking the road of compassion and love and healing and forgiveness, it will make the healing process and the healing of your inner child a lot easier than going about it, well, I'm just angry. I'm angry at my parents. I can't believe they raised me that way because it's also your parents' first time doing life. No human is perfect. You are not perfect. So take what you have learned and experienced as a child and the imperfections your family has made and change them and break the generational repeating cycles. Maybe that was a repeating cycle of abuse or divorce or unhealthy relationships, like whatever it is, be the first one in your family line to break that repeating pattern because what you do not heal will repeat. You saw your father yelling at your mom all the time. As a man, you might now treat your wife like that because that is just the pattern that you saw and you never took the time to go back inside to your inner child and realize, oh, I need to heal that aspect of me. Oh, you might think that it's normal to hop around with a bunch of different men because that's what you saw your mom do. And by not taking the time to revisit that part of your inner child, you will continue to repeat that cycle. For my family, we had a generational repeating cycle of abuse. All of the women in my family were abused by their husbands, and my mom was the first one to break that. She noticed this pattern and said, this might be who my family lineage comes from, but this is absolutely not how I'm going to raise my kids. That is not the story of my life. And she's the first one who broke it. And now, for me, I know that that will absolutely not be a part of my story because my mom took that power and strength over her life to change it. And now for me, the generational cycle that I want to break is divorce. There has never been anyone in my family besides my grandparents on my dad's side who has not been divorced. And I told my boyfriend and my partner now, I said, we will not be getting divorced because I want to break this cycle. I do not want my kids to think that divorce is normal. And it's really unfortunate that so many people experience that now. I don't blame my mom and my dad. I'm not angry that they got a divorce and they weren't together. I take it as, you know what? That has literally built me and molded me into who I am today and has raised my standards of life actually, because I saw what it was like to do the back and forth going from each parent's house every single weekend. And you might have experienced that too. Like, it's very hard, especially when you're very young. It's a very confusing topic. My parents aren't together or living in the same house, and now I have to go back and forth. That's a lot on a child's mind. And you may have been through something like that and view as, oh, love isn't real and marriages will never last. But if you tell yourself that story, that is the story that will repeat for yourself, because real love is existing. Real love is out there. Happy marriages are out there. It's about believing it. What you believe, you will see. A lot of the time, we have to see something first to believe it. But start letting it be the other way around. Start believing something before you see it. If you take a look at all the most successful and influential people within this world, you will hear their stories of what they went through and think, wow, they had it really rough. But even though it was super crappy and bad when they went through it, look where they ended up on the other side. Their pain bridged them over into their purpose. And the same thing can be said about you. Your pain equals your purpose. You can let what you have been through define you in a negative light and bring you down and constantly retell that story over and over again, or you can use that story to actually uplift yourself and others. We are all meant to help each other as humanity. We are not meant to bring other people down, but we are meant to lift everyone else up. And the only way that you can really do that to your best is to start within, is to start by lifting yourself up every single day. So pretend you're sitting in front of your inner child right now and just ask them, what do you need to hear from me right now? Do you need to hear that you are loved? Do you need to hear that you are safe? Do you need to hear that you do not need to feel you need validation to be okay? Because you can give yourself that validation. I've gotten myself to a point in my life where literally I don't need validation. Obviously, it's nice, but I love and respect myself so much that it does not matter what anyone else has to say about me. It does not matter if I'm not being validated. I can still feel that within me. And my childhood wasn't butterfly and rainbows either. I went through a lot of challenges growing up. I love both of my parents so much, but it did take time to get myself to a point of forgiveness, especially when it came to my relationship with my dad. And I'm not going to get into the full story right now because, what's the point? Like, I don't really see a need to go into everything bad or everything hurtful that might have happened on my dad's side and been like, oh, well, he did this and that. And it's like, I took what had happened and what experiences I went through and let it be one of my most positive and best qualities. For a while, I think I had daddy issues, which is kind of funny to say because now it's like, I don't think I have any daddy issues. On the surface level, I didn't think I had any issues, but deep down subconsciously, there were things that really hurt me that I still carried. But I took that time to sit with myself and not only tell myself that I forgive myself for any ways that I reacted into anything that I held on to, but to also forgive that parent figure. To say, you know what? You are human too. I know you might have not meant to hurt me in the way that you did, and I forgive you. And when you have conflict with a parent, you don't have to be best friends with that parent, especially if they did something really, really bad to you. But you should still always feel love because love will always win. If you have hate in your heart towards someone, it is going to feel a lot heavier than you just forgiving that person. I'm not saying that you have to be close again with whoever this is in your life, whatever parental figure, even if it's not a mom or a dad, maybe it's a grandma or a grandpa or an uncle. But let yourself feel that forgiveness because that is what will set you free. You can become your own parent. You can reparent yourself now to heal that inner aspect of you. And what this means is just giving your present self and who you are right now the love, attention, and affection and healing that your younger self deserved. And this just starts with speaking to yourself kindly. Don't bring yourself down for no reason. If you didn't do something to the best way that you possibly could have, instead of bringing yourself down, say, you know what? I tried my hardest, and that's that, and I still love myself for it. I'm not perfect. Choose boundaries instead of constantly feeling like you need to please everyone. You do not need to please everyone. The people who want to love and accept you will absolutely love and accept who you are without you needing to change a thing. Obviously, don't be a crappy person, but don't think that you need to just conform to fit every single person, because you won't. It's actually a good thing if not everyone likes you. If everyone likes you, that means you're not being true to yourself, because some people just aren't going to like you, and that's just kind of the truth of life. And also, sit with your emotions instead of suppressing them. I know it's really easy to want to push off your emotions. Oh, you feel yourself getting emotional? Absolutely not. We are not going to feel that, because growing up, we were not allowed to cry. It was not a good thing. But now that you are an adult, make sure you tell yourself, I need to cry. I need to let it out. So when you feel that really tight burning feeling in your chest, instead of pushing it down and saying, I'm not going to deal with it right now, let it come up and let the tears come out. Even if you're a man, if you're like a macho, whatever, you're like, oh, I can't cry because men don't cry. Men do cry. You're also a human. It does not matter that you are a man. Even if your father told you that you couldn't cry a lot, or society, just know that it's also important for you too. Because when you store things in your body, you get sick, you do not feel good, you have a lot of anger towards the world because you are holding on to everything within you. And one day, you will absolutely explode. Also, you guys, sorry for this interruption, but Illume Projects is another week officially closer to being released, and I'm really, really excited. It would mean the world to me if you could support at Illume Projects on Instagram. We have a variety of t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeves, and the long sleeves are specifically for all my peeps who live in Miami. With that being said, let's get back to the video. What did you love to do as a child? Did you love to color? Did you love to draw? Did you love to sing? Did you love to run around? Never lose that inner child of you. Don't think that just because we are adults that we still can't have fun, that we can't have a creative outlet for ourselves, because letting yourself and giving yourself that creative outlet helps you so, so much. Because with work, you're constantly in the grind. You're constantly like, oh, I need to make money. I need to do this. I need to chase after this, my purpose. I need to get this guy, this girl. I need to make sure that I get this job. You're constantly chasing and you're striving, and you're not letting yourself have that creative outlet. You're not letting yourself have that expressive outlet of, hold on, I can connect back to my inner child. I don't need to be so serious all the time, and I don't need to constantly be striving after something. I can take that time to sit in the stillness. What I love to do is journaling, and I have a free ebook that I'll attach. It's about healing the past and rewriting the future. I don't remember the name. This is literally the third video this has happened where I say I forget the name of my ebook, and I'm really sorry, but it's for free. All you have to do is enter your name and your email and it'll be sent over to you. But journaling really, really does help. If you don't like coloring or whatever, arts and crafts, express yourself through writing. No one's going to read your journal, hopefully. I remember one time my boyfriend, when we first started dating, he thought I read his journal, so then he read my journal, and it was just weird. I was like, why would you do that? Because that's my safe space. But I love him so much, and it's just because he thought I read his. So he was like, oh, it's so sweet. She must have wrote something that she wanted me to read. It was nothing ill intention, like he was trying to see like what I was. You might have been born from your parents, but you were created by God. You were created in God's image. So even if your parents didn't do the best job ever, if they didn't show you enough love, you can find that love through God in the universe. And don't ever think that you are separate from this energy force that is absolutely just love and light. It is constantly within you. You just have to take the time to turn your attention inwards and really want to connect with God. A relationship with God is not transactional. You don't have to do X, Y, or Z to feel this presence or this love. You don't need to pray a certain amount of times a day to be accepted or to be forgiven or to have your emotions be handed over to God. When I'm going through something super hard or difficult, I start praying. The power of prayer is so real, not only for other people, but also for yourself and your own emotions. And God doesn't just heal the version of who you are right now. God also heals the younger version of yourself. God redefines love, safety, healing, identity, and worth. Never, ever forget that you are not separate. And I make it a point to talk about God in every single one of my videos, because my relationship with the universe and God is so raw and real that now that I've been able to experience this kind of love and this energy, it's like I have to share it to other people. And I don't care what your beliefs are. It does not matter what religion you are, what spiritual belief you are. Know that there is a higher power out there. And all it is love and light. And don't forget that. You are allowed to change even if it disappoints who you used to be, even if it disappoints your parents or your family. You are allowed to be authentically yourself, your highest version of yourself, the most lovable version of yourself. You are the cycle breaker. You are the pattern changer. If the cycle has never been broken before, be the one to break it, even if your parents don't approve of it, even if the old version of you doesn't approve of it, because you are not behind. You are in a process. You are in a process of healing. And sometimes old layers need to be shed, including people. I'm not saying that you should not love your family or try to be close with your family, but I understand that sometimes some people have family that is very hard to work with. And I fortunately have a very amazing family, especially, you know what? No, not especially. I love my family. I love everyone in my family, because even though I might have experienced a lot of hurt growing up, I know that no one is perfect. And I gave myself that permission to change and to no longer hold on to it, because a lot of people who would have experienced what I went through would have a lot of hate in their hearts, especially towards certain kind of figures, and would have this belief that divorce is just normal. Oh, step parents just aren't always going to be the nicest. But I now let that be such a driving factor for me to just spread love to everyone, because I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, you know what? They did this to me growing up, so I'm going to rub it in their face and do this. I'm going to be a bad kid. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. And I honestly used to do that when I was younger. I used to act out because I wanted to show my parents how much I was hurting. But I'm safe now. I'm no longer a kid. And you are no longer a kid. You do not need to protect yourself in the way that you used to. And I think a really important and beneficial thing you can do is notice what triggers you. I know what my triggers are. And when they pop up, I say, you're safe. I literally imagine I'm hugging and talking to my younger self and saying, you're safe. You do not need to react this way right now. And you are healing this. You are okay. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that growing up, but just know that you're never going to have to experience that again. And when you do that, it literally, first of all, it's really emotional when you start talking to your younger self, because we all have one. It doesn't matter how tough you are, or like whatever you're doing in your life, we were all children at some point in some time. And healing your inner child and forgiving what has happened to you is the most liberating and emotionally freeing thing that you could ever possibly do. Your parents might have given you life, but they do not define who you get to become. Know that your story gives you power. Your testimony gives you power. And by taking the time to heal yourself, you're being reborn in a way. You're taking a look at everything that you experienced as a child and looking at it through a new lens, looking at it in a lighter lens of, I'm not going to let the past have as much power over me, because you're not who raised you. You are not stuck with your coping mechanisms, and it is not too late to change. You can be at any age and take that time to work on healing that younger version of you, because as I've said before, you deserve it. Never forget that you have so much power over your life. If you start changing the story and the meaning, you will change your life. Never forget the power of the tongue. Never forget the power of your words or your intention and what you speak. If you speak out loud, oh, I'm just this way because of my parents. I'm going to be a failure because I saw my parents fail. I'm never going to have a happy marriage because my parents were divorced. I'm never going to do X, Y, Z because I saw X, Y, or Z. You will continue to confirm and affirm that belief around your life. And it doesn't just have to be about your parents. It can be about your financial situation, about your luck, anything. Watch how you speak to yourself and your mind. We have a lot of thoughts a day, and I know it can be easy to just let thoughts slip by and get on this negative thought loop or this negative tangent, but be the one to interrupt that pattern and say, I am changing my thinking from here on out, and I'm going to change my life. Your perception controls everything within your life. So if you want to have a changed life and change results, change your perception. That's the biggest change, and that's the biggest thing that I've been able to do in my life, because I could take everything that I've been through and have it be the story as to why I can't do a lot of things. But I have that story be the reason that I can't do a lot of things, and I'm going to help a lot of people through my story. If I never experienced what I went through, I would have never been able to start doing these talking videos or be who I am today or be the kind of woman that I am today. Everything from my past and everything that my inner child had to experience and go through has built me into the strong woman that I am today and has built you into the strong man or woman that you are today. And do not forget that. Your power, your story is absolutely your superpower. So, with all of that being said, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this YouTube video. I really hope it helped you in some shape, way, or form. And just remember that you're the one who controls the narrative. You're the one who gets to change your story. Never forget, you create your own reality. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you next week whenever that video comes out. Mwah. Bye.